Hi, everybody. This is Lori Carice, and we are Reset for Women 360, also the 360 women's community. Anybody with a business is open to join these meetings. And we're going to have a nice little refresher on establishing some business goals for 2023 here with Julie DeLucca Collins. So, Julie, go ahead and take over.
Hi, Lori. Thank you so much for having me again. This is one of my favorite conversations to have overall when it comes to planning for the new year, because I think that if we fail to plan, we're planning to fail. And I know you've probably heard it before, but this is one of the things that makes us most successful in our business is really being clear on to what are the things that we want to accomplish? What are our big, hairy, audacious goals and BHAGs? And I would love for people to share in the chat. For those of you who are joining us live, tell me if you had any BHAGs for 2022. And I'd love to get some feedback. Did you have any specific goals, whether it be for your business, whether it be for maybe your personal life, or maybe a combination of both? So let me know in the chat. And what I want to just tell you a little bit about me, in case this is your first time meeting me. I'm Julie DeLucca Collins. I am the founder and CEO of Go Confidently Services. We are an agency for podcasters that helps to increase the visibility and authority for individuals, but also part of Go Confidently Services includes Go Confidently Coaching, which is my services and support. I work with clients either with incredibly gifted and really audacious women who are looking to increase not only their authority, but also be able to make an impact in the world. For me, my big goal is to help these individuals become the CEO of their life and business. And to be the CEO and to be confident, the CEO of your life and business, you really have to be able to have a plan and also have the individual habits that allow you to do that. With that, I can tell you that habits are important to me because I am a Tiny Habits certified coach, but my success in business and in my life has come just because I have created habits that serve me and that support my goals. So with that, I'm going to get you started. Pearl, and let's see what Pearl wrote. I see that she has a comment. She said, that her goal was to grow her retreats. Thanks to coaching, I will be able to double the attendance to her 2023 retreat. That is a really big, audacious goal. Small goals: finish MA, get out of storage, finalize divorce, content, and create content. Philippa, I really love those goals. I think that these are really concrete and they're no small goals. You know, anything that we're trying to do in life, and I've been where you are. I've been where I had to start all over. I also went through a divorce, and I know that it didn't seem like, oh my gosh, when is this going to happen? How is it going to happen? There's a lot of uncertainty that goes there. So one of the biggest things that I'm going to encourage all of you, whether you're in Philippa's case or in Pearl's case, firm up the direction and then do it. Jennifer Todd is what she is saying as well. Make sure that you are really clear and consistent, and you take action daily. Even if it's 1% better from what you did before, you're going to be able to achieve the dreams and goals that you have for yourself. Lori, her 2023 goal is to refine my events and narrow down some areas of my business for maximum growth. Excellent. One of the things that I find with a lot of individuals who are in business is that they create these really great goals and they create them in their brain. And I have been there. I create goals in my brain all the time, and then I don't write them down or I don't put together a plan. And one of the goals today that I have for this presentation and the 1 hour that we'll be together is to really be able to help each of you and anybody watching this in the replay to make sure that you learn some of the tips and things that have helped me create the business that I love, that provides me with the freedom, independence, and also the income to be able to do the things that I love, but more importantly, make the difference in the life of others that I really are part of my mission. So let's start off. And what I do have a PowerPoint, and I'm going to share that with you if possible. So Lori, I don't know if I have accessibility to share, and it looks like I do. So bear with me while I open that. And here's my slideshow. So how do you do this? The first thing that we need to do in order to create big, hairy, audacious goals for 2022 is that we need to review our create goals for 23. We need to review 2022. Biggest reason we want to do that is because sometimes we get caught up in thought errors and patterns that really prevent us from being able to move forward. And we end up making the same mistakes. And then we sit around and feel bad for ourselves and feel sorry for ourselves and think, oh my gosh, I did it again. But basically it's because we didn't really review what we were doing. It's important for you to note what worked, what didn't work. And what did not work is really important to not look at it from a standpoint of you're going to beat yourself up, but really from a standpoint of this is a learning opportunity. And then, watch the tape. If you think about it, most, if not all, I'm going to take that back. All professional athletes go to a game, they play the game, and then they come back into the locker room and they watch themselves. They really look at, okay, did that pass? Did that play? Was it me? Was it my catcher? Or was it, the equipment that didn't work? And they really dissect it. And for you to be able to create your big, hairy, audacious goals for the new year, it's going to be very key for you to watch the tape. And I know what you're saying. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I hate watching myself. I hate hearing myself. All of you here are on the radio and you're hearing yourself. And if you're not hearing yourself, I encourage you to do that outside of creating your goals. Why? Because we get better. I can tell you that for my podcast, and that's Casa de Confidence, which is also aired on Wednesdays in 360 Talk Radio, one of the things that I notice is that I can fall into bad habits. But when I listen to myself, I say, ooh, I need to pay attention to not make that mistake in my next interview. And I really become better. The same things with our life and business. We need to really be able to review what is it that worked, what are the mistakes, so that we don't make them again, or we can try to avoid them. A calendar audit is the other thing that I ask each of my clients, and I myself also do. I like to go through my calendar. Sometimes by the time December rolls around, we forget what we were doing in January. Many of us end up getting sidetracked by the end of January, right? We start with these great goals and January starts to finish and we're going into Valentine's Day. And we don't end up, we forget what goals we set. Why? Because we have all these things come up. That is part of watching the tape. That is part of reviewing your life. So if you haven't done it before, I encourage you to take a piece of paper. And I am a big proponent of pieces of paper or notebooks. And the reason being is because when you use your handwriting and your brain, they kind of make this connection. Many of us love to type and we end up typing all these documents, but take a piece of paper, open your calendar, and I like to open it either on my computer or on my phone. And when I open it, I start to write down January and I look through each week. What did I have going on? Oh, I participated in that event. Oh, wait a minute. I ended up going to such and such. Or I met with this person and then told me I should do this. And then I got sidetracked from my goals and started going in a different direction. So review your 2022 is very important. The other thing that as you're reviewing, not only will you review your calendar for what happened as far as events and things that fell into your calendar, but I want you to take in and also start to audit what happened from month to month. What programs and clients drove the revenue for you? This is another really important piece. I can tell you I started my business in 2020. We're going to go in 2023. But when I was in corporate, we did this as well because you will become more well-versed at being able to understand the cycles of your business, and you can plan for your business better when you know when will. If you are someone that, for instance, offers tutoring services, March is a great time to be able to offer parents a special on tutoring. Why? Because you're getting the state test. This is when retention notices go out. If you are someone that is working with individuals, right, that are launching events like Lori does, it's important for her to know, hey, I get more clients when we have Mother's Day, when we have baby showers, when we have all the different things that her ideal clients are really in the process of needing. So review your revenue, how much income came in, and what programs or revenue drove, what or clients drove your revenue. I can tell you that I used to run the Get Done workshop, and then I would take people into a productivity coaching. And you know what? For as much as people say that productivity is an issue and that they're very overwhelmed, I used to spend a lot of time talking about it. And I would then, not make any money or barely any money on that. So for that reason, I really was so glad that I went back and I identified what are the things that were driving my revenue. And for as much as I thought this is something that people wanted and needed, it's not something that was driving my revenue. Also, you need to make sure that you understand how you market into things, because sometimes we say, hey, I'm going to have this event, or I'm going to open my group coaching, or I'm going to launch my course, or I'm going to fill in the blank. But did you market it? This is how you're in your audit of the year. You're going to take a really close look at, if I was saying I'm offering this as a product of service, then I tell people, hey, look at me, here I am. It's time for you to do that. I can tell you, I worked for a company that did a lot of work with school districts and did a lot of work with parents, and we sold tutoring. That's where I got the example from. And one of the biggest things is that in the month of May, we had a big push. Not only did we have marketing as far as TV ads, radio ads, but really as individuals who were working in individual tutoring centers, we were pounding the pavement, telling everybody, hey, don't let the school year end badly. Come for tutoring. This is what we offer. And really putting yourself out there in front of the people that need you and want your services. So make sure that you're auditing, how did you market, and did your marketing pay off? Because a lot of times, we spend time, whether it be, and if you're spending on Facebook ads, let's talk about that. That may not necessarily be the best place for you to be, but we are doing things and spending our time marketing our services. But the services that we're marketing are not really what people are coming in. So how did you spend your time? That's going to be super important. Next, I want you to stop and look at what were the 3 top gains. What was the most successful thing that you did for your business? Think about it. So for me, one of the most successful things that I did for my business is, one, my CEO retreat. And I run that in the fall, and not in the fall, in the late part of the year, and also in January. That was one of the most important, most successful offers that I have. And why? Not only income-wise, but also in the number of clients and the people that really found out about me and the people that came and had great results and then started to recommend me. And I want you to find out what marketing strategies produce the best results for your successful outcomes. Did you talk to people? Did you do email? Did you go on podcasts? Did you just speak to people? Did people recommend you? And what helped you be the most productive? When you look at all of the things that you did for last year, for 2022, as we're wrapping it up, I want you to think about, what helped your productivity? Did you start using maybe something like Monday or ClickUp? Or did you hire an assistant? Or did you decide, what, I'm not going to do that? Maybe you were working part-time and you don't need to work part-time anymore. And now you can spend all your time on your business. Maybe you started to get up early. Maybe you're getting more sleep. What produced the successful outcomes, the top 3 successful outcomes? But I want you to write down those successful outcomes. And I know that I'm going through a lot of this. you can put any type of comments or questions that you have in the chat, and I will periodically come and stop that so that I can definitely answer these questions for you, my friends and ladies. I'm so happy that you're here. And if we have any cool dudes watching, again, thank you for being here for the replay, but let's recap. We want to review and audit your outcomes for 2022 before we start moving into 2023. And the first thing that you will do now is you want to come up with those top 3 successful outcomes for 2022. Next, I want you to look at, and this is where sometimes we do this. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Yeah, I messed up, and I don't want to know. You have to know. What are the top 3 opportunities for growth? A lot of us, we sabotage ourselves because we have this judge inside our brain that is saying, oh, you're terrible. You didn't do it. You missed the mark. You didn't make your goal. That is normal. That is normal. When we fail, it's our first step in learning, right? It's our first action. First step in learning, and it's okay. And it's an opportunity for us to find how we can do it better, what we need to do differently, who do we need to help us. So again, your top 3 opportunities for growth. I'm going to tell you one of the opportunities for growth for me that I have from last year is I went in a fantastic vacation with my husband. Oh my God, did we have a ball. We went probably in the middle of January, came into February, and I came from really hot weather to really cold weather in the middle of winter here in New England. And that's an opportunity for growth. I hibernated for a good 2 to 3 weeks and lost the momentum in my business. So I am still going to plan a vacation to get out of the winter, to go and find some sunshine in the middle of winter. However, I am going to have a plan for when I come home and reintegrate myself, because that's an opportunity for growth in our business. Everything that we're doing is really affecting us and is very important. Maybe I needed to have some marketing plans, right? Or I could have scheduled an event so that when I came back, I would, and I know this is how I work best, right? If I knew something is going on, I would jump right back in, as opposed to coming back and be like, oh, I wish I was in the sunshine, having a frothy drink with a little umbrella. Let's see what's in the chat. I'm more aware of what areas need to be dismissed, but feel this list would help me in the areas of growth. Absolutely, Lori. And for all of us, this is, if this is the first time you're going through this process, you don't have to be alone. Women really thrive in community. I've heard the statistic maybe about 6 months ago, and I heard it again last night, and it's shocking. And this definitely applies to this. Did you know that research says that lonely people die early? Lonely people die early. And we as women, and like many humans, we are hardwired for community. This is a community. This community can help us really be able to work together and move in the direction of the things that we want to accomplish. So don't be lonely. Don't let your business die because you're outside of community, right? Make sure that you solidify your goals, your plans, and you leverage this community. You can leverage me. You can say, hey, Julie, this is my plan. What do you think? What are your thoughts? These are the things that didn't go so well for me, and really start to evaluate. There is more growth that happens from learning from the things that didn't go right, as opposed to saying, oh, that went right, let me do it again. You're going to find that you grow more from learning from the things that didn't go right. So now I want you to think about what sapped your energy and what were the best lessons learned. What will you be doing less of this year, right? What are you doing less of? For me, one of the things that I decided that I was not going to do anymore. Now, I am a paid speaker. I love speaking. I jump at any opportunity that I have to be in front of people because I love learning from others as I sit in a session like this, but also it hones in my skills. But one of the things that sap my energy, and I started to do less of this year, is speaking in opportunities in which I had to either pay to be a speaker, right? People pay me. I don't pay them. Number one. Number two, I also stop if I was asked to be in a summit or a conference, and we all have been to these online summits that we have to send the 20,000 emails and do the 30,000 posts and go live on Instagram and do this and that. That totally saps my energy. Saps my energy. And for as much as, yes, I'm having an opportunity to be in somebody else's stage and leverage their audience, it is time away that I'm not from my own business, not from my priorities, for my health. So for that reason, I no longer say yes to that. If I do, it has to have a really great return for my investment. I want to be able to, for instance, Lori runs the summits. I participate in those. Why? Because I know that Lori is an equal partner. She is helping me by giving me the platform, but I also can spend time in my business and work equally. It's not sapping my energy like some of the other summits that I've been to that have been vampires to me. And then they're asking you to pay, exorbitant amount of money, and you have to show up, and then you're one of hundreds, right? Whereas with Women 360, we can create these summits that are so individualized, then so specific to us that we are featured, right? So think about these things and what are the best lessons learned? What shiny objects you need to avoid? Maybe you're asked to write a blog. Maybe you're thinking, oh my God, this person is selling that course. I need that. We live in a world in which many of us are aspiring to be business owners because we see everybody else's success. Stop aspiring to be the business owner. Stop stepping into the role of this and start stepping into the role of the CEO of your life and business. The CEO of Coca-Cola is not thinking, oh my God, that beer company is doing that commercial. I should go and see what they're doing and do it like that. Stop that. Do your work here. A lot of us have spent thousands of dollars trying to buy the next course and the next thing because what we're doing is not bringing in the income that we want. But ultimately, every time you stop and you decide, I'm going to try something new, you are kind of taking a step away from what you're doing. I'm going to give you an example. I have walked the Camino de Santiago. This is a 500 mile, 700 kilometer pilgrimage in Spain. And you walk a few kilometers or miles between towns every day, anywhere between 15 to 20 kilometers a day, maybe 30 kilometers. So you wake up in the morning and you decide, you know what? I think I'm going to make it to such and such town that's about 20 kilometers away or 15 miles, and I'm going to go. So you start walking and, then you stop for breakfast and then you stop in the next town and you have a beer and you're like, oh my God, this town is so nice. I love it here. Look, they have great food and there's some other great people here and I love it. Oh, I've only walked 10 kilometers. I know I wanted to walk 20, but I'll make it up tomorrow. But this is a great place to be because, oh my God, I'm going to miss out. Stop feeling that you're going to miss out. You know what? There is a time and place for you to be able to be sidetracked, but be intentional with your distractions. Be intentional with those things. The other example that I can give you is that, for me, I did not anticipate launching my radio station, the Confident You Radio. And I really sat down and I thought about it. How is this going to support my goals for 2022? And I really had to evaluate, and I went back to the lessons from 2021, and I noticed that this was not going to be an energy zapper, but it was going to be something that supported my goals and supported me in that direction. So be very clear with that. Know what you need to avoid and what you need to say no to. And when you say no, don't worry about it. No is a complete sentence. Jennifer says, I need to focus more and stop saying yes to many volunteer or unpaid opportunities that have no value for me in the long run.
Hey, Julie, before you
Yep.
go on, I just want to clarify, Julie's radio station is part of 360 Talk Radio. So she's not like a competing station. She's a station within. I just want to let everybody
Absolutely.
know that you are still part of our community. You have a
Yes.
6-hour batch.
Yes, Confident You Radio is a 6-hour batch within the 360 network. And it's one of the best decisions that I have made because it has allowed me to continue to build my community, which was one of my goals. My word for the year, and I don't know if you can see the sign back here, that sign says connection. That's my word for the year. And guess what? My radio block for 6 hours in our 360 network allows me to make that connection, not only with the people that come on the radio, but also my resident experts that help me build my community. And we can talk about that more, but I want to keep going on
I
this.
want to point out that I'm very happy to see that they're posting. I actually have been tagged on some posts of your resident hosts actually having those bragging rights that they have a segment. That made me feel so good. It was like quite an empowering moment. It's like the spin-off. It's like a spin-off series, right? You're a great
Right.
TV show, and then you've got those spin-offs. So it's
for sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful to see that.
And that's how we empower each other, because my goals, I have my own goals for 2022 and for 2023. And I surround myself with people that are going to support those goals. And then as I'm working toward them, it supports them and they support me, and we keep growing. If you've never heard of the African proverb, you're probably not listening to my Confident You 6-hour block or my radio station or my podcast, because the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So for that reason, it's very important that, again, we encourage each other, but we look at you personally. What zapped your energy? What are the lessons that you've learned?
And
now,
please return to Jennifer. I'm sorry, because I think
sure.
it's a very important post. What I saw is stop, doing everything for free and volunteering. That can certainly be a drain.
So Jennifer, I'm going to share a little bit. One of the things that I ask my clients and that I do for myself, and that is very important, is personal branding. Within finding what your personal brand for your business is very important that you create a list of what your values are. One of my top values for my business is service. And I always measure every opportunity am I serving? And there's a lot of opportunities that I say yes to, but like I said, there's many opportunities that I also say no to. And the reason that I say no to is because, yes, I want to serve and volunteer, but as long as it's also helping my clients. So if that opportunity, and that's how you should measure, like, right? When people say, hey, Jennifer, can you do this? Can you help with that? Can you participate in this? There's things that you're passionate about. Always measure, is this moving me in the direction that I want for my business? Is this going to help me, or is this going to take me back? Because those are the really big things that we forget about in planning our goals for the new year. The next thing, as you're planning your days and your months and your weeks and your goals, I want you to think about, what is your ideal day look like? Ideal days are created when your priorities and intention, right? So for me, one of the first things that I did when I started my business, and this is going back to the beginning of the pandemic, I was laid off and I knew exactly what I was going to do. I was going to do this, but I really started to take a minute, close my eyes, and figure out, what does my ideal day look like? I can tell you, for the most part, on any given day, pretty much what it's going to look like, even though I may have different people jumping onto my calendar, different things that I'm doing. But I can tell you, Mondays is my administrative day for my company. Fridays is my financial day for my company. Thursday is my marketing content creation. Tuesday is the day that I do a lot of my brand new appointments. Wednesday and Thursday are client days. Right? So I know also that I like my days to begin with me grabbing my cup of coffee, sitting down in my chair and writing, or listening to something inspirational, or doing a meditation. That's my ideal day, right? I created this vision for myself, and that's what I strive for. Now, that doesn't mean that it happens 100% of the time, or, that I'm perfect at it, but it's very important to really craft that picture and start to work toward it. So when I created that ideal day, what I started to do is move closer to it every day, a 1% better and improvement toward that. And then identify what are the areas of life that matter to you. One of the things that matters to me is my time with my husband. I prioritize that. In my ideal day, we sit down and we have dinner together at 6 p.m. and we cook together and we have fun and we catch up and we do a lot of, connecting, because my relationship and my marriage is important. Now, there's some days, you know what? We don't cook together. He goes out and gets a pizza and I'm sitting in here and I'm like, oh my God, we got to eat. And then we ended up just sitting in front of the television. But ultimately, I know what I would like the ideal, and I start to work toward that, because again, your priorities is what drives your ideal day. Prioritize the things that are important. Maybe your ideal day includes you caring for your body, getting enough sleep. Okay, it's 9 o'clock, my ideal day. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. Maybe you don't go to bed at 9 o'clock every day, but you start to really imagine what it could be like, right? And start to work toward that. And then start to prioritize. Maybe your ideal day says every Tuesday, I'm going to take myself out to lunch. And so that I change venues. I started to go to coffee shops on Fridays just so that I get out of the house and not have the same four walls always be in front of me. So these are the ideal days that it's important for you to plan for yourself. And then again, your ideal days can shift with the seasons. My ideal days during the summer, sometimes I sit in my Zen den or I sit outside. So start to make these pictures for what your ideal day looks like. And then here is one of my favorite concepts. If you've heard me talk, you probably have heard me talk about this. Your future self is one of the most powerful concepts you can have. Your future self is, the person who you are in the future. Think of yourself, and let's, maybe the DeLorean is going to pull up. We get in the DeLorean, close your eyes and picture. If you're getting into this time machine, what does the confident CEO of your life and business look like? Is she the person that is overwhelmed and is not sure whether they should check email first, or they're like, oh my God, I didn't do that, or they're running around? Or is the person like, oh, look at me, I got it all together, right? Think about that and start to create that clear, concise picture. Is that CEO someone who is really clear on what they do every day, how they're going to go about doing it? Or is this person always worried, like, oh my God, not all the bills have been paid? And, I've been there, right? I've had my moments in which I'm not this confident CEO. I'm sort of like this busy bee, like, oh my God, I didn't do it. But that's because I failed to follow the plan that I set out for myself. So it's important to create this mental picture for yourself. So once you have this mental picture, what is different with the new 2.0 version of you in 1 year? So now that you've decided, right, that you have this new identity, your future self, what they look like, so confident, I want you to think about in 1 year, in December of 2023, how do you spend your time, right? What does that confident CEO do? What are you spending your time in? What clients, who are you working with? Who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with? How do you service these clients? Are you providing them with coaching? Are they courses? Are there events? Or are they paying you for products or services? Also, what income are you making? Picture yourself, your ideal self 2.0 in 1 year from now. You're getting ready to do some holiday shopping, or you're planning a vacation in December for the new year. What's in your bank account? How much do you have in your bank account? Make that clear picture for yourself. What about the relationships that you have? Who are you spending time with? Who is your little network, or your little board of directors that you say, oh, I have this opportunity. What do you guys think? And you really have that group of people who you can talk it out with. So those are the things that really are important to know when you're creating this 2.0 version. In the comments, we have Michelle. She says, 2023 gives me a chance to stop procrastinating with my outreach and strategize using social media. Thanks, Julie. I'm setting up MailChimp. Good job, Michelle or Flowdesk, and make sure to post once a month to my email contacts. I love that. Love that you have days for the week. Helpful structure. Yeah, it's definitely wonderful structure. It has helped me a lot. I have been much happier lately, Lori says, now that I've decided to stop working late afternoons when my girls get home and you get to be mom. I love that. You always talk about how much you love being mom. And I know that this definitely fills your cup. Jennifer's, Lori, I empathize with this. Setting time aside to be mom is such an important priority, indulgence, and I need to do more of, because it's not an indulgence, but an imperative. Jennifer, yes, absolutely. One of the things that I started to do is when I started to envision the confident CEO of my life and business, right? I know that I don't want to work 40 hours. I didn't leave corporate America to work 24/7 in a business. So I don't work. I come 3 o'clock on Fridays. I don't work. I don't allow appointments to be set. So start to create that boundary in your calendar now. And a lot of people think and begin to feel like afraid, like, oh my God, but if I don't work, I won't make money. If you have a clear plan that you're following and you're working your plan, you will make the income for your business. But it's very important to know what's important to you. So true. Making time for ourselves and our loved ones is important to include in your plans. Yes. And Pearl has been working with me. She's a client, and she knows that this is very important. What about your relationships and what about your intentional margins? There is a friend of mine. She's been on my show several times. Her name is Katie Jeffcoat. She's also been on Pearl's show. Katie Jeffcoat has trademarked a phrase called intentional margins. Intentional margins are the things that you put in your calendar first. For me, I stopped working Saturdays. You know what? I will work on a Saturday if Oprah is calling me, or maybe somebody, who I think very highly of. So for instance, maybe Lori will say, hey, there is going to be this summit and I would like you, XYZ. You know what? I'm going to say, sure, but I am going to go into my calendar either for the week before that summit or after, and I am going to make up my time for that time. So make sure that you are creating this one version, the new version, the 2.0. Your future self, we talked about Time Machine, upgrading your internal software, right? Apple upgrades our phone all the time. We need to upgrade ourselves all the time into a 2.0 version, 3.0, 5.0, whatever it is. But that happens through the habits that you have. You need to create the lifestyle that you want. What does it look like? How are you spending your money, your health, your business, and make the stuff happen differently, but basically because you're deciding, okay, I want to put more money away for retirement. Then that means that you're not buying every $20, $30, $50, $97, whatever thing comes your way in your inbox. What investment of money or time do you need to make to create the upgrade? Sometimes upgrading to a better version means that we have to invest time or money. For me, the upgrade that I need to make for my health, for my mental health, and just, because I like being fit. I like working out. I like practicing yoga. I like that feeling that I get when I'm like exhausted, but I had such a good workout. That's the investment of time and money that I'm going to be making. So this is how I'm reverse engineering what my 2023 is going to look like. So the real need and projected want. So do you know how much it costs now? And this is, okay, let me switch gears. What is your real need? And what do you project do you want for your life? The real need you have today when it comes to money, clients, income. It's very important to know that. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, I'll say to them, tell me a little bit about what do you want for your business? Well, I want to make $100,000. First thing I hear all the time, not uncommon. I think that that's a great thing to want, but I want you to be realistic, right? And there's a lot of times that people will say, I want to make $100,000, but they don't realize that, maybe with the amount of mortgage that they have, maybe with what they pay for childcare, their car, their insurance, their medication, their food, $100,000 may not cover it all. Because if you're running a business, and hear me well, if you're running a business, when you are taking home $100,000, that is not what you're paying yourself. And we can definitely open another can of worms, and that may be another workshop that we have. But $100,000 is not all yours. You have to pay for your business. You have to pay for your expenses. And there's operating expenses, whether it be your email, whether it be your hosting package for your website, whether it be training, whether it be buying a new microphone, your Zoom license. All of these things are your needs for your business. Also for your home. Your personal and business expenses is what's going to drive your goals. So as you're creating this big, hairy, audacious goals, and this is one of the things that I walk a lot of my clients through, is making sure that they know what their expenses are. And then we use the framework from the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Then I help them and teach them how to be able to create their budget and how to be able to, one, know what they need to make in order for them to be able to start to create the business activity that they will need in order to make that income and also cover their expenses and then cover the stuff that you want. How many of us go into Amazon and think, oh my God, I'm going to buy that. That's so cool. Or I want to buy that trip, or I want to do this. It's important to know, project what you want, but also understand the real need. Also, your desired life should also drive your goals. Maybe for you, like me, right? My desired life is I wanted to be an author. When I decided in 2020 that I wanted to be an author, my desired life then drove my goals. That meant that every morning I got up at 5 o'clock and came here to this desk, come hell or high water, and I started to write. So that also drove my goals, really drove what my life looked like. And what does it cost in the future? It doesn't mean that maybe you're going to hire an assistant. Maybe you want more time with your kids. So that means that you need an assistant to help you organize some stuff. Maybe you need someone who's more well-versed at certain things than you are. Maybe the life you want, to have the business to bring the type of income, serve the number of clients that you want, to be able to grow in exposure, you're going to need a coach that can help you get there. So make sure that you start to allocate and understand your needs and your wants so that you can reverse engineer what you're looking for. And come up with a number, come up with your desired number that includes your needs, it includes your wants, and you create that number. So it's okay. You want to make $100,000, but that also means that you got to cover your wants and your expenses. And you've looked at all your expenses, you've looked at all the other things, and then you can start to reverse engineer that. So the other piece here, and this is so much of what drives me, legacy, right? How many of you had taken a chance or have taken an opportunity to step back and say, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, what is my legacy? What am I leaving behind? What is my business? What kind of legacy will my business have in the long run? Each and every single one of you has the ability to make a life-altering change for somebody else. Everything that you do, whether you are a service provider, whether you're doing marketing, whether you're providing them health or teaching them about self-care, whatever it is, you are going to make a life and an impact shift. That's your legacy. So it's important that you are clear on what is the legacy that you want to leave behind. I want women, and when I was in corporate America, one of the biggest things that drove me to do what I'm doing now is that as I started to climb the corporate ladder, there weren't that many women in power. There weren't that many women in charge. And some that were not very nice. But the other thing is I would get a lot of women that would say to me, "Oh my God, Julie, I wish I was as confident as you are. I wish I was as confident as you are." And yes, there is a level of truth. There is a level of confidence there. I've gained that from practicing, not because I'm perfect. But there were times, and there are still times, in which I just lay in bed and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm a hot mess. I don't have it together. What the hell is wrong with me?" Right? We sabotage, and we have these thoughts that are always telling us that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not whatever enough. But I go back and I understand that that's not perfection, and that's just the process. That's just natural. And then I remember that even though I don't feel like I have it all together, today I'm going to meet with this person who is my client. And when I meet with her, I'm going to help her. Actually, my next client, I am going to be doing something really special with her. We are remapping her offers. And that's going to make an impact not only in her life, but it's going to make an impact on the lives of others. And that is what my legacy looks like. It's important. And we beat this dead horse. Who do you help? What do you do for them? And what transformation and benefit do they get from working with you? I want you to think about, who is your AAA client? Can they afford your offer? Can they afford you? Can they appreciate the value that you are giving them? I have a client that was creating an offer, and I'm like, no, are you kidding me? This is who you are. You can't charge that. You're a lot better than that. And people who appreciate you will pay for that. So don't undervalue yourself. And then also, the other thing, if you're a coach specifically, make sure that you know that the best type of client is the person who will apply what you teach them. I have a client who we would work together, and I would say, "You need to do this, this, and that." And I would coach her through a lot of different things, and she wouldn't take action. And then she would fail. And it was until she started to take action, but really, I started to evaluate whether or not I needed to have this person as a client, not because I don't like her, didn't love her, don't think she's phenomenal, but the time that I was spending with this person who was not taking action, right, was time that I could have been spending on somebody else who is an action taker and would be out there doing what they love and making an impact. And we really had to have a heart to heart with this young woman. And this is when she started to shift. So, top additional characteristics of your ICA, of your ideal client avatar. What are they? Are they punctual? Do they like tech? What are they Googling at 2 a.m.? Are they someone who nurtures their family, who feels that traveling is important, who doesn't mind having a glass of wine here and there? Come up with all the characteristics that you want, and then start to craft this person. For me, my ideal client, her name is Patricia. It's not, I have a couple of Patricias that have worked with me, but Patricia in particular, this is my woman. She can afford me. She appreciates me. She applies everything I say, but also, she is fun. She's dedicated. She's faith-filled. She is kind-hearted, loves a good laugh, takes photography, has traveled, loves to entertain. All of these things are the things that I know about Patricia. So show me the money. Do you know your current take home from your business? If you don't know your current take home from your business, you cannot create new goals. What do you want your take home to be in 1 year? Make sure you account for all of the expenses like we talked about. And then if you made $10 this year and you want to make $20 because that's going to cover your expenses and also allow you to buy your little latte that you want, what is the gap between what you're making today and what you want to earn? Come up with that number. And then for 2022, you want to go ahead and know what your total revenue, that's everything that you brought in, everything that clients paid you, maybe you had an offer, you sold something, whatever your income was for 2022 in your business, it's very important that you know your net. Your net is not with expenses. But then now I want you to also know, what are your expenses? How much was your gross? after you subtracted all the things that you bought and spent and invested, right? What is that number? Look at expenses as it's nice, but is it necessary? Absolutely. I was paying for a software and I've been paying for over a year because it's super cool. It's got great functionality and I sort of kind of use it, but I was only using 10% of it. It was going to allow me to create these wonderful things for my clients and really shiny. And some of these gurus in the coaching business were using it. And you know what? I wasn't using it. So why was I spending $79, right, for that? Why? Why was I spending in that? That's $79 I could have been saving for something else. So review your offers. What are your currently offers? And what other income are you bringing in? Maybe you got paid for speaking. Maybe you partner with someone and you got affiliate marketing pay. All of these things are going to be very important. So come up with all of your prices for 2022 and the total number of sales for each offer. So if you sell, one of your offers is I build widgets with my clients. How many of those widget building offers did you sell? Right? If you go out and speak at events and they pay you for that, how many of those did you have out there? It's important to come up with that number. And then what is the total revenue that each offer brought in? This is how I decided I was giving up and doing away with one of the programs that I sold. You know what? I didn't need to be coaching in that because although I thought that was like the best thing I had to offer, nobody wanted it. So why would I be selling that? Why would I be offering that? So really being able to go through this process last year really helped me clarify what I needed to spend my time doing. And then I want you to know what you pay after expenses, right? What other things do you consider? On each month, what sold the most? Did you have the feast or famine syndrome? Did you bring a lot of income at the month of July? And then you got no clients for August, September, October. You need to understand that. What sold the most and why? Is it because most people are away or most people need it or what is it? And then what did not sell well and what needs to be pruned? Do it away with it because that's a time suck and it's, taking your energy out. And now you need to start and looking at your 2023 products and services. What prices? Maybe you're keeping your prices the same. I have a formula that I help my clients with in making sure that they price themselves accordingly. Many times we're not sure how to price ourselves, and there's a little art and magic to how do you price yourself, and I walk my clients through that. But here's one quick tip. If you sold something, whether a product or services for $100, and 3 people in a row bought it without even having to be convinced, then it's time to increase your revenue. But you're not going to go from $100 to $500. That's not reasonable. You're going to do incremental small increases in your prices. Proof of concept. And again, if they buy it 3 in a row, then you keep going and you keep increasing. But don't go from I sold it for 100, I'm going to 500. It's very important. And if things are not selling, also ask yourself, is this what people pay for that? What would they pay? And really be able to create that. But I'm happy to, I have a sheet on pricing that can walk you through, and I'm happy to share that with everybody. And then number of sales that you want to make for each product or service, and what is your revenue goal? So these are the biggest things that I would encourage you to take a look at. I'm going to share the PowerPoint with Lori, and you can have access to a lot of the different things that I use. If you have any questions, I am actually hosting a CEO retreat. Lori, anybody who is coming from Lori's community is going to be able to attend for free. This is one of my paid offers. It's $500, but anybody from, again, the 360 community will attend for free. And this is something that I am really looking forward to doing again. And we cover a lot of this and a lot more. Be ready to be the CEO of your life and business during the CEO.
That's a wonderful offer, Julie. And I'm so glad, that's when I hope everybody appreciates being part of a community so that you can really make those connections and gain those offers. I want to open it up to questions if you have time, but I'm going to go ahead and shut off the recording so everybody feels free to kind of stumble with their video, etc. So Julie, thank you very much for hosting this. I'm going to drop all the information in notes for YouTube, including your CEO retreat. So I'll collect that from you later. As to our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and also follow Julie, and we'll go ahead and sign out. Let's see. Where is my recording? I'm on share screen or something, so I don't think. Okay, there we go. Bye, thanks.